Mother Jones' speech for Union Miners Cemetery, Mount Olive, Illinois. Fellow workers, through the ages you have built a wonderful monument of civilization, but you don't own it. You make all the fine clothing, but you do not wear them. You work hard and are poorly paid, and are forced to strike for better conditions of labor, shorter hours, and higher wages. What we have is a corporation hell on earth. I have worked in the mills, and I know what you suffer. I know of your swimming heads, your aching backs, your swelling veins, and your breaking hearts. But I see a nobler hour ahead, a glorious sunrise for the weary army of workers. Tonight we touch the electric key, and in the morning the answer comes flashing from far Japan. We too, comrades of America, are ready to line up for the great industrial battle of the world. The workers are awakening the world over. They are preparing to take their own. The struggle for shorter hours and better pay will go on from year to year. A class struggle is now on the world over. An operator said to me, "Mother Jones, how many hours would you have the miners work?" 4? "Yes, 4, I answer." "And what would be the pay?" "I'd have them paid all that, the coal they mined, deducting only expense." "But where would we get any profit then?" "There wouldn't be any profit for you," says I, "unless you took off those patent leather shoes and put on rubber boots, threw a pickaxe over your shoulder, and went down in the caverns to dig like the rest. Then you'd get what you earned. The class that owns the machine owns the government, it owns the governors, it owns the courts, and it owns the public officials all along the line. There may be an exception, but on the whole it is true. It is a wrong form of government we are living under, and we, the workers, stand for the overthrow of the whole damnable institution. The machinery which seems so hard for us to claim now will be easy in the future. Look at the great factories. The time of the hand tool is past. We don't work alone now, but collectively, even by thousands. We are brought face to face with a new condition. We work today for the great syndicate instead of the single employer. We are confronted by conditions such as the world perhaps has never met before in her history. We have in the last century solved one great problem that has confronted the ages in the mighty past. It has ever been the riddle of the people of the world. The problem of production has been solved for the human race. The problem of this country will lie with the workers to solve. That great and mighty and important problem, the problem of possession. The earth and the fullness thereof do not belong to any one particular class. When this nation gives back to her womanhood the economic rights that have been stolen from them, when this nation gives back to childhood the right to be well-born and cared for, want will cease. Robbery will cease. Jails will be no more. There will be institutions for the uplift of the human race, not for its degradation. We don't want charity. We want what belongs to us. We produce the wealth. They take it from us and send charity workers to feel our stomachs to see how long it will take before we are starved. They don't feel the stomachs of the bosses, and we paid for the fat that is found there. They preach what we will get when we are dead. We want what we have coming now, while we are alive. Through the children, the world is made what it is. In the unions, they could be educated how to better themselves. They are the poor, without wealth or friends, who perish in the sight of plenty. The man or woman who will not fight for his or her rights is unworthy to be a father or mother. In the great coal strike of 1902, it was the women who won the battle, and that is often the case. I told the men, if I find out that any man here gives in and goes back to work, I'll raise an army of women and we'll march on the mine and shake him out by the heels. After all our pain and sickness and trouble, we don't intend to see you settle your condition on our children. Perhaps you think of us women only as those who get your dinner pails ready in the morning. But you'll see, you miserable, whimpering, paltry apologies for men, if you ever say, "Marianne, I must go back to the mines." Does the operator own you? Has he any mortgage on you? You should starve first. I called upon the women to hunt out the weak-kneed men. Why do you toil in the mines to build marble palaces for the coal barons? You mine your ton of coal a day, while the immense rake-off goes to the operators. When you are organized, you have something to say about the conditions of labor and your wages. You must stand shoulder to shoulder. My friends, it is solidarity of labor we want. We do not want to find fault with each other, but to solidify our forces and say to each other, we must be together. Our masters are joined together, and we must do the same thing. It's a funny thing. We build the jails, and they put us into them. We pay for the policeman's club, and he soaks us with it. We give the policeman his salary and authority, and he uses it to put us in jail and beat us. They don't arrest the manufacturers. If you kept your eyes open at election time, you could put some men in office who would jail the bosses. The capitalists get us to fighting among ourselves as to whether they will worship a Methodist Jesus or a Baptist Jesus, or about where they were born, when there was not one of them who had a word to say about where they were to be born. And while you have been fighting about the rights of your nationality over another, the capitalists have been laughing at how easily they have been fooling you. Turn the jails into schoolrooms. Take the children out of the mills and factories and sweatshops and allow them to develop their bodies and their minds. I am in favor of putting the jailer to do an honest day's work instead of turning keys on us. But the century is here when the woman is going to take a mighty hand in these battles, and then we will fight it out and fight it to a finish.